Today, leftists melt down over the possibility of Elon Musk taking over Twitter. They are also melting down about Ron DeSantis, trying to protect children from being sexually indoctrinated. They still can't get over it. And also, they're allowing women to be impregnated by men in detention centers. It's a Friday. Yeah, if you couldn't already tell. We've got all that and more coming up, and it all starts right now. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday. Welcome to the News and Why It Matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, joined today by BlazeTV contributor Eric July, also host of For Cannon's Sake. He is Young Rippa 59. You can find him on the YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to him. Also joining me, Alex Stein, host of Conspiracy Castle. You should also be subscribed. Well, he's got Conspiracy Castle. He's also got Alex Stein, where you can find all of those viral videos.
A lot of weird videos there, yes.
All over the internet. I'm like, I'll see one and I'm like, wait, weren't you just at another city council meeting? How are you in Plano and Frisco at the same time?
I'm going really hard in the paint, as they say. There's not a city council out there that I will not go to. So just be on the lookout. If you're watching this city council member in whatever city, I'm coming for you. I'm coming to you next.
Well, they're changing the rules because of you.
No, literally. I mean, we don't have to spend the whole time on this, but in Plano, they've limited. They put a lot of these mayors are scared to death. When I walk in the room, they have to change the whole procedures of the meetings. So we are winning. We are. Some of the culture war, we're winning.
You got to remind them who they work for.
And they don't. That's the other thing is all of these politicians. I'm serious. I had to yell this. Every single one. I don't care if it's the small town of Mesquite. It doesn't matter. As soon as they get elected, all of a sudden they think that we work for them. Mm-hmm. That's not the case. They work for us, so they need to be reminded that as much as possible.
Yeah, amen. So make sure you're subscribed to both of these gentlemen. So yesterday we talked about the possibility of Elon Musk taking over Twitter. It was interesting. We discussed it yesterday that I had to be unplugged for a couple hours before the show because my son had a festival, and I came back and I was just like, I feel like I've missed so much in just 2 to 3 hours because it was just unfolding literally in real time throughout the day. So since then, the Twitter board of directors has adopted a, quote, poison pill to thwart Elon Musk's bid for a hostile takeover. This is a limited duration shareholder rights plan, which gives Twitter's existing shareholders, except Elon Musk, time to purchase additional shares at a discount. So it's obviously meant to dilute Elon Musk's holding in the company and make the cost of a takeover higher, or I think they hope prohibitive for him. So that's going on. So while that's going on, there have been a couple people who have posted these great threads of leftists just completely melting down about the possibility of Elon Musk potentially taking over Twitter, potentially, because they jump straight to he's going to bring back Donald Trump. And they just can't have that. So let's go through some of these, and then I want to get your thoughts, gentlemen, on just this entire situation. So Matthew Rosa says, if Elon Musk allows Trump back on Twitter, it will be a death blow to the free world. Trump's big lie will spread like a virus. I discussed the danger of Trump's big lie for Salon. Oh, this is a Salon writer. Yeah. This makes sense. Like Hitler's big lie, it must not be normalized, lest fascism return. Fascism, like not allowing people to
speak freely.
I won't get into that. Here's one from Jared Yates Sexton. These are all, I think, supposedly, these are all blue check marks. So these are all supposedly journalists, people of notoriety here. He says, I don't know, maybe a society where billionaires have enough money lying around to start space programs and control communication while people starve and ration their medicine isn't the best system. Who owns the Washington Post?
Oh, another billionaire.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Jeff Bezos.
When we're talking about communication, controlling communication.
But have we noticed that?
They don't have a problem with that.
And nobody's getting mad. Vladimir Putin still has a Twitter. There's so many other people, evil people on Twitter, they don't even care about, but they're so scared of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's how you know that we are in the George Orwell 1984 where you can't even speak the truth. Like, they have to censor anybody that is deemed a threat. And I think with this, what we're noticing is the cover-up is worse than the crime. The fact that they're scared of Elon Musk could show you guys that Twitter is a corrupt cesspool of information that they want to control the narrative of.
I want to go to one more as my favorite. It's David Levitt, I think. If you guys could go to that one, it says, if Elon Musk successfully purchases Twitter, it could result in World War III and the destruction of our planet. I can't.
I thought that was a meme.
Is it?
I don't know.
I hope it's not.
There's no way that's serious.
The problem is, Eric.
How can you decipher it?
Thank you.
Then you have. We have a guy right here that.
Well, right,
that's
because I want to go to your point. Let's go to Katie Tur of MSNBC, who actually they were talking about this particular topic. This is MSNBC anchor herself, and she talks about the massive global altering consequences of this potentially happening. Watch.
You know, when talking about this, it's kind of funny. Oh, Elon Musk wants to buy it, but
sure.
there are massive life and globe altering consequences for just letting people run wild on the thing.
Yes, 100%. But that's Facebook is really where the real action is in that. So this is a very small company. It has an outsized influence because media people like it, politicians, world leaders, and Elon Musk. And so one of the issues is if he's not going to do this, and by the way, Twitter and some of its biggest investors, like Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, are saying no, and they're putting poison pills in. What is he going to do? He's going to have to somehow unload this 10% stake.
Yeah, Katie Tur saying that's not a meme. Right? But that's what makes it so difficult. It's like these people really are freaking out like it's the end of the world if Elon Musk might take this company private and actually, think about what they're talking about here. There are massive life and global altering consequences for allowing free speech.
Well,
who would it be? What type of person would it be who would feel that way?
Well, you have to understand, this is what I've been discussing so often on, not just here, obviously, just what I've been doing for the last decade, and how a lot of folks are seeing, maybe they didn't know before, how the left kind of operates. They're all about perceived legitimacy. You hear me continue to use that term, and they know once they have that, that is so important to whatever it is that they want to do. They don't have the best ideas. They're not the brightest people. And a lot of them don't even have money like that, to be completely fair. However, they do often get control of certain mediums that allow them to funnel whatever bullcrap information, and more importantly, stifle the information that is deemed to the contrary. The last couple of years, now Twitter used to be way better because Twitter used to not, that was the whole point of Twitter. It was like basically everybody goes on there. You can say whatever the hell it is that you want. But they pivoted from that specifically, definitely with the last few years, not just with getting Trump off of there, but when you the COVID policy, the misinformation and all of that, and fact checking, and that they had sort of participated in. They're scared that it will go to Twitter of old, where people could just say whatever it is they want. But more importantly, they understand how powerful it has made them because they have been able to control the conversation. So it's funny they use terms like fascism, which is more akin to what Twitter does right now, when you consider they do the bidding of the state, when you get people off of the platform that say things that you deem as medical misinformation. You say it's harmful information because they might not shield the vaccine in the way that you want them to, or they question it. They're afraid of losing that. And if they lose that, you have to understand they have nothing else. This is something that I've been trying to get so many people to focus on. I know both of us kind of focus so much on the cultural aspect, and that's more so what the left has done here, focused on the cultural aspect and how they've been able to control the conversation. Once that's done, like I say, they're done.
Well, right. I mean, this is what I was alluding to. Like, who is it who doesn't want free speech, right? Who is it who doesn't want these ideas to be debated?
Well, this is all you have to know is on Twitter that they allow hardcore pornography. You can go on there and they have pornography all day long. Yet if you go on there and you say anything against the mainstream narrative, they'll put a restriction on it. My video had millions of hits where I went and I wore a women's bathing suit at a city hall meeting. They consider that sensitive material, and literally it killed the views and people had to click on something to open it up. Yes, that got deemed sensitive. Yet in this same platform, there's all kinds of lawsuits where they had child pornography on it. So Twitter is a place where blue check marks, and I know there's some people that are good that have blue check marks, but the majority of them are journalists that work for the state regimen or whatever you want to call it. They're basically state-run media program in order to manipulate us or propagandize us with their narrative. So it's garbage. And these blue check marks know that if Elon Musk takes control of it, he's going to give independent journalists like myself, like you guys, a free reign to actually speak the truth and speak freely. And that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the truth.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk, just generally speaking? Because I know a lot of people, I feel like we've had this conversation before. I'm not sure with either one of you, but I feel like a lot of people are so quick to go, oh my gosh, look, he's one of us because he agrees with us on this one issue. And the guy really scares me. I mean, obviously, like, we know where he stands on climate change, right? He's the founder of Tesla. So it's like, or the owner of Tesla. So it's like, I get very nervous when people are jumping on board with him fully.
Right.
I'm like, you know what? That's great. If he wants to agree with us on free speech, I am all for agreement on that. But like, let's not make him our guy.
Yeah, I mean, all this is look, to me, this is just my honest opinion. What's more important is the reaction that he's getting from them. Even if he, let's say, enters in on Twitter or owns it per se, and he doesn't change it to the degree that people maybe are expecting it. The fact that the feathers got ruffled right now, or they have a way that they think that Elon is. Because the hell, his enemies think that he's one of us. Right. So it certainly doesn't matter to them. But that's what they're so scared of. That internal conflict, to me, is just as important as anything else. Where all these people start to turn on themselves. I don't know if it's going to end up in a mass exodus. I don't know where they're going to go if they don't have Twitter, where exactly they're going to go to kind of get that same sort of interaction, because Twitter does have that own uniqueness. I, for one, appreciate the fact that this would be, in the event that he did get it, it would be the first time in a long time the authoritarian left has to actually get on the defense and, like, instead of us always adjusting to what they do, or we have to go start our own platforms, we have to, this will be the first time in a long time where they have to be like, well, we got to maybe make an adjustment. So I would at least appreciate that. But yeah, even with why Elon is doing this, he's appealing to like this case for democracy. And y'all know how much I feel about that and how much it sucks, which is hilarious because you got blue check marks on one side, the opposite side of Elon, saying he's a threat to democracy, where Elon's saying, well, the way that Twitter's current policies are a threat to democracy. So both of these idiots are touting out this thing that objectively sucks and is a very evil thing. But regardless, it's ruffling feathers, it's getting the right people mad, and I like that internal conflict. I think that's very meaningful.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say this. I guarantee half those blue check marks that are complaining drive a Tesla probably, because, you know, that's the same person. Jen Psaki, we can't afford these gas prices. She's going to say, we'll get an electric car. So that's the thing, is these people actually support Elon Musk. Yet if he disagrees with them on one thing, like free speech, all of a sudden he's the devil. So my opinion on Elon is he's obviously a weird guy. I'm a weird guy. His relationship with Grimes, very weird. What he named his child, I don't know if it's a boy or girl, very weird. So he's weird. But there's nothing wrong with being weird. So I like if he's standing up against the, you know.
He's pro-transhumanism, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's weird. I don't really like that. There's a lot of stuff about Elon I really do not like. But at the end of the day, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if he's the enemy of half these blue checks currently right now, he stands as my friend.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm with you there. I just don't say he's being red-pilled.
Yeah, he's not. No, he's not based or red-pilled.
Yeah, this is the founder of Tesla who, like, legitimately, hugely believes in climate change and transhumanism and all of these other weird ideas. He's definitely not being red-pilled. But if we can get him on the free speech thing, we can partner with him on that.
We also have to mention, you know, the Neuralink. I mean, he wants to literally put a chip in people's brains.
Yes.
And you have him on record saying that in the future you'll be able to park your Tesla with, you know, a chip in your brain.
Absolutely not.
That's weird, guys. We don't want chips in our brains.
No,
no. We just want chips and dip. We don't want actual chips in our brains. So.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to break. We'll be back with more. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Bonner Private Wines. So it is Friday, and that means it is happy hour. But if you are getting your wine from the grocery store, you're probably getting a wine that is loaded with like oak flavoring, purple dye, and a bunch of sugar and chemicals that you don't necessarily want to be drinking in your wine. So don't do that, all right? You got to go over to Bonner. They've got, they have these grapes grown from these remote vineyards in the mountains of Argentina. They're grown at these extreme high altitudes, and it results in the most delicious tasting wine. I was going to say I drink it all the time. I don't want you to think that I'm a drunk, but I do drink it all the time because they're delicious and they're affordable, and you get to lose all of the chemicals and nasty stuff. And we all know I'm a health nut, okay? So when I drink my wine, I'm like, I'm just being healthy, all right? this is the healthiest wine that you can get. You got to go over there. It is you're going to get half the retail price. No need for a promo code. You're also going to get 50% off the shipping. So 50% off of the actual wine, 50% off of the shipping. No reason not to do it. Supplies are limited, so go there. Do not sleep on it. It is visit BonnerPrivateWines.com/Y. That is BonnerPrivateWines.com/Y.
And if they're drinking wine in the Bible times, you know it's good. If it's in the Bible, then you know it's good.
Disney continues to face public pushback over their, strong support of people who like to sexually indoctrinate children, because that's just what it is. Of course, they criticize the Don't Say Gay bill that passed over in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis signed it into law, and it was designed to protect children ages kindergartners through third grade from having any sort of, sexual conversation, gender identity conversation in schools, and also parental consent in schools, which is, of course, huge. If you're a parent, I don't have to tell you this, you realize you don't want your children being told certain things by their teachers that is going to confuse them, specifically when it comes to issues of sex and gender. So there was a large crowd of protesters gathered in front of, this is Disneyland, so this is the one in California, just yesterday to protest Disney themselves. And of course, when there is a protest, there has to be a counter protest. I was dying to find out, who won? What was the turnout like on both sides? I need to know, for the sake of this country, I need to know whether or not it was very, very pro-groomer or pro-child and pro-parent. And we have, here to discuss this with us, we have Drew Hernandez. He is TPUSA contributor and host of The Frontlines. And Drew actually went to this protest, and he captured it all on video. So, Drew, thanks for joining us today. I know I have a clip that I want to play, but I want to get your take on this first and just what you saw.
Yeah, well, we're definitely seeing a rise from humanity, because people are starting to identify that this is not a left-leaning issue, this is not a right-leaning issue, but the far left are the ones actually pushing back against a law that's meant to protect children from being groomed. But people are waking up and saying, hey, don't touch the kids. Stay the hell away from the kids. Grandmas, mama bears, papa bears are standing up and saying, you know what, Disney is going way too far. They're already screwing us with their prices to get into their parks, but now they're starting to try and screw our kids? No, we're not going to stand for that. We're going to stand against it. So I've been talking to a lot of people on the ground. A lot of people are pissed off, Sarah, and as they should be. This is a law that's not a Don't Say Gay bill. It's a don't groom kids bill, and parents are starting to stand up and say enough is enough.
Yeah. So did you see when you were out there, Drew? I know we've, like I said, we've got a video of one of the counter protesters that I want to play here in a minute. But you're saying this was a very strong turnout against Disney and what they're doing. The counter protesters, am I to understand that they, as they usually are when these are leftists, were non-existent?
Yeah, so we did see a lot of people that were against Disney, and there are a few hecklers that have been showing up, and they're just NPCs, Sarah. These are people that are what they would call low information voters. They have never even read the bill. I had a interaction with one of them. This woman was just walking by, screaming at the protesters, saying, you guys are the ones that are hurting the LGBTQ people. And I walked up and I confronted her, and there's the video.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's play this moment. It's quite something. Watch.
The bill in Florida actually hurts LGBTQ people.
No, it actually protects them.
No, actually it doesn't.
Yes,
so
the bill
I'm
is an anti-child grooming law.
No, it's not.
It's meant to give the rights to the parents so that a teacher can't have some kind of private sexualized conversation.
No, you're completely
Have you read the bill,
misled.
ma'am?
Yes, actually I have.
Okay, so is it a Don't Say Gay bill?
Yeah, actually it
is. The word gay in it?
It's actually ridiculous.
Is the word gay in it?
It's ridiculous.
Is the word gay in the bill?
It's ridiculous.
Is the word gay in the bill?
It's ridiculous.
You can't answer the question.
Great argument.
No, actually, I can't
So
answer
you've read the bill, but you can't tell me if the word gay is in it. Is the word gay in the bill?
No, it's not. So, but it is actually no. It's not in the bill.
So it's not a Don't Say Gay bill. You're not making any sense, man.
No,
so you said it's a Don't Say Gay bill, but now you're saying the word gay is not in the bill.
You're anti-LGBTQ when people are
No, I'm
anti-child
grooming.
I think that you just broke her brain there, Drew. So I want to get your reaction to this, but I just want to tell you my favorite part of that was when you could see her brain really reaching as the hamster was turning the wheel and the wheel was about to fall off, and she's like, You're a Republican, aren't you? Because that's the only argument.
It's ridiculous. These people are NPCs. Like, literally, that's exactly what that video is. She just listens to CNN. She probably listens to Don Lemon religiously and Brian Stelter because he's the smartest guy on the face of the planet when it comes to politics. I guarantee you that woman watches them religiously and believes all these lies and garbage, that it's a don't say gay bill, it's a don't groom kids bill. And that woman has obviously been indoctrinated herself. Who knows? Maybe she's a groomer too. I don't know. Maybe she touches kids. I don't know.
Okay, so I love that. I'm there, right? I'm like, you know what? If you're not gonna defend this, then I guess you're part of the problem.
Yeah, but I want to make this point. Have you noticed in The Beast of Dumbledore, Disney had to edit out for the Chinese version any mention of a homosexual relationship.
Yeah.
So it's just weird that these multinational corporations are going to fund this and try to fight this Don't Say Gay bill. But in China, they won't even groom the kids there because their politicians will stand up against it. So it's Drew, are we just letting this happen? Is that your opinion? I mean, why are they letting this happen in America, but they won't do it in China?
Alex, China is daddy. We know that. The NBA, the MLB, Disney, China is daddy. Nobody wants to piss off China. That's why they're hypocrites and they edit all this stuff out of their Disney movies because they don't want to piss off the CCP and Xi Jinping because he's Pooh Bear daddy. But this is why we're starting to see this. They're hypocrites. And listen, this is why the far left needs to understand this. Disney doesn't give a damn about you. They don't care about your values, because if they did, they would do it worldwide. But they don't. They do it to appease you because they think that they have to bow down to this minority, this woke mob. But they don't. There's more of us than them. And we need to just say, enough is enough. Stop with these people. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Eric, you want to chime in?
I mean, look, it's something that obviously I've been kind of leading the charge against Disney for a very long time. And certainly in my space and everything it is that I certainly do. A lot of folks are catching up to this because, you know, it's one thing to hide like a freaking penis in the background of like some stupid movie.
Which is weird.
By the way. Which they had done weird stuff like that or spell out sex and like whatever. Like that's one thing.
Lion King.
Yeah, it was in the Lion King, right? That's one thing to do that. But these guys are legitimately saying that, it's perfectly fine for these teachers, public school teachers in particular, to sit there and literally groom children. And they find that as a threat that even though it doesn't specify sexuality at all, the bill in itself, they think that it's a threat against them because they're telling on themselves as far as what it is that they either had been doing or what they are about to do. I love the fact that we are seeing people stand up. I don't think Disney has to exist. I've said this long before. I think we keep operating under this moronic idea that Disney has to be a thing. And I'm like, sis, who? Like, their economic model is outdated. It's archaic. Why can't we have these alternatives kind of rise up and let's replace them? I don't even want to see them change. I say let them keep running themselves into the freaking ground and may other alternatives certainly pop up because this is something different. When they draw their line in the sand like that, and now they're committed, you saw that Reimagine Disney thing, they're committing 50% of their characters are going to be a part of these sort of underrepresented groups. They long have acknowledged the power of the media that they produce. So they're telling you what it is that they're going to do. There is no reason to sit up here and support this lousy company. If I can drop Marvel Comics, anybody can drop anything that's going on with Disney.
Yeah, it's interesting too, Drew, I want to go back to something that you pointed out, which was just the absurd cost that it takes to go to Disney. They continue raising their prices. I have a friend who just went there not that long ago, and it's like they're nickel and diming you for every single thing now. You got to pay extra for the fast pass type situation. You got to pay. They are putting cost on top of cost on top of cost. I don't think the average American can even afford to go there anymore, but certainly when they look at taking a family vacation, why the hell would they not be like, yeah, we're just going to go to Universal. They're not getting involved in my kid's business, and also they're cheaper. It seems like a no-brainer.
The love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, and you're starting to see this unfold with Disney, because not only are they manipulating people at the parks, they're rising all the prices, and they're screwing people in their wallets, it's because people have allowed them to. That's what's happening here. People have allowed them to be manipulated by Disney. Listen, stop worshiping Mickey Mouse. Stop worshiping Disney. These people are not God. They can be taken out. They can be canceled. Listen, if there's anybody that should be canceled, it's pedophiles and people that sympathize for pedophiles and that are pro-child groomer. People need to cancel their Disney Plus, stop going to the parks. I know the nostalgia means so much. It's like the fabric of so many people's childhoods, especially for me growing up in SoCal. People know what I'm talking about. But listen, if Bob Chapek drew his line in the sand, and said, I'm going to be a better ally to the LGBTQ community. I'm going to do more to push back against what they call the Don't Say Gay bill. It's an anti-child grooming bill. If he makes his line in the sand, we need to draw ours as well. Cancel Disney, cancel them now, stop giving them money because they're going after the kids. And I'll say this, you should love your kids more than Disney. We should love our children more than Mickey Mouse. And if we can't get our minds around that and we cannot get behind that, we don't have a country anymore. This is the future, Sarah. If we cannot protect our babies, we literally do not have a future in the United States of America. We should not allow our kids to be groomed. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, Drew, I've got goosebumps, so I think that'll preach. Thank you so much for your passion in this. Just speaking as a parent, I appreciate it so much to have you speaking words that need to be spoken. Drew, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can follow all of my work, Drew H. Live. You could watch my show, Frontlines, on the TPUSA YouTube channel at 1 p.m. live Pacific Standard, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. And you could find the rebroadcast on YouTube. And you can find me on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Just search Frontlines with Drew Hernandez.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Drew. We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
All right, before we go to break, I want to go ahead and thank our sponsor, iTarget Pro. So look, ammunition, I don't have to tell you, the cost of ammunition and also literally everything else has skyrocketed, making it really, really hard for anyone to be able to train properly because you got to get the ammunition, you got to go to the range, there's costs on top of cost on top of cost just to be able to stay sharp with your weapon that you use for protection. That is where iTarget Pro comes into place. This is a revolutionary system. It's going to allow you to dry fire practice with your actual firearm anytime in the safety and privacy of your own home. And by the way, as an added bonus, you're not like shooting holes through your couch. Let me tell you why. It's a laser bullet that yes, it is as cool as it sounds. Okay, I have it. We've used it with my family. It was my older son's actually first experience managing, holding a firearm and, using it to practice pulling that trigger. It was a very, very great experience for him. And it's fun to make sure you stay sharp. It comes with this target that you can practice on. You download an app on your phone and you can make sure to keep track of that. And it comes in all major calibers, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. You can go to itargetpro.com. You can save 10% plus get free shipping with the offer code NEWS. Hey, I get it. Easter is around the corner, but Mother's Day is also going to be upon us. And I'm just saying, if you're looking for a gift for that special lady in your life who likes to stay protected and keep her firearm with her, this is the way to do it. It is itargetpro.com, offer code NEWS. According to experts, China's latest COVID lockdowns are a greater risk for global inflation today than they actually were in 2020. This is because the world has become, after a virus was unleashed upon us that originated in China. I know we are not supposed to say that. It's just true. The world actually since then has become more reliant on Chinese goods since the pandemic began. China's share of exports globally rose to 15.4% in 2021. This is the highest that it has been since at least 2012. And as we are learning this news, as we are even seeing, I think more important, as we are seeing the human rights abuses that are happening in Shanghai, which is, of course, a very wealthy, modern place in China, and we are seeing people jump to their deaths. We are seeing people starve to death because the government will not allow them out of their homes to seek food or water. We are seeing them beating to death animals, which I say we are seeing. I haven't watched it because I refuse to watch it. I actually heard the audio of it the other day and had to turn it down because it was so severely disturbing to me. All of it is. But people are jumping to their deaths. Obviously, lockdowns have more of an impact than just spreading COVID or not spreading COVID. But we also have, at the same time that that's happening, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has reared his ugly head back on MSNBC to talk in this very moment about Shanghai and what is going on over there and how he feels about lockdowns. And this is what he had to say.
How concerning is the outbreak in China? We see the lockdown in Shanghai and the State Department now ordering families out, all non-essential workers out of Shanghai.
Well, China has a number of problems, two of which are that their complete lockdown which was their approach, a strictest lockdown that you'd never be able to implement in the United States.
You'd never be able to
Although
implement.
that
Okay.
prevents the spread of infection. And remember, early on, they were saying, and I think accurately, that they were doing better than almost anybody else. But lockdown has its consequences. You use lockdowns to get people vaccinated so that when you open up, you won't have a surge of infections because you're dealing with an immunologically naive population to the virus because they've not really been exposed because of the lockdown. The problem is that the vaccines that they've been using are not nearly as effective as the vaccines that are used in the United States, the UK, EU, and other places.
So Fauci, if you guys tell me, am I misinterpreting this, is basically saying the problem isn't the lockdown that China is implementing. The problem is that their vaccines don't work as well as our vaccines. And you know what? If we could have implemented something like this, we should have. We just couldn't do it here. Do I have that wrong?
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's essentially what it is. This guy here, man, the fact that he's still being touted out on the television, I have such a big problem. But yeah, the lockdowns to them, they see no consequence and they don't even consider really the other consequences, be it the emotional consequence, especially the economic consequence from doing such a thing. They just look at it like that's the means, this is our end, and we're going to utilize it to do as such. So when you get what's happening right now in Shanghai, where actually, I don't know where he's going with that. He wanted to say, well, they were initially a success, but now they weren't. But he flat out lies when he said that the lockdowns, well, what you do is you use a lockdown to get everybody vaccinated. The vaccine was not even on the damn table when we were implementing lockdowns here initially, and when China were having them initially. That had nothing to do with anything. You see how quickly like that? That's a complete shift of the goalpost, and he's going to be allowed to get away with it. That was never even touted as something that they attempted to do, was to just lock people down so they could get other people. It was not even on the table at that early point in time.
Well, they wanted you locked down until they had a vaccine.
And it's the thing. Like when you're talking about like something like that and trying to do it yet again, like this guy knows that he does not have to take into consideration the economic and even other medical ramifications of a lockdown. He doesn't care. His bottom line is not going to be impacted. If anything, he'll get a raise for this nonsense. And it just goes to show how evil this man is, how evil the people that have utilized him to get this information out there or funneled it through him, how evil that they are, because they don't care. If all that is him saying, if I could get away with it, advocating it in the United States and we can get that stuff implemented, we certainly would. That's what he's saying.
But he has to run cover because Shanghai is over 90% vaccinated. So in order to protect the vaccine, he has to say, well, you know, they're all vaccinated, but their vaccine isn't as good as ours. So that's why they're having these problems. Because he knows when they tell us that the only way out of this, no sunlight, no exercise, it's just wearing a mask and getting vaccinated. So that's why he has to run cover, and he can't say that the vaccine passports and all the mandates were never about stopping the spread. It was all about getting compliance to the vaccine. So when he says this in a place with 90% compliance to the vaccine and they're having outbreaks, it shows and it makes the vaccine look like it's ineffective. So, of course, he's going to cheerlead our vaccine and say ours is the best. It's just typical lies from Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Do you guys think he's ever going to see his day of reckoning? Like, will he ever have to answer for
that's
this?
the most unfortunate thing about all this. You heard me say it before. Like the thing that sucks the most is that all of these criminals that took in this, including other Republicans as well, that aided in this nonsense, which we are going to be recovering for probably more than a decade, right? When they tried to set the economy off on just like an off switch, and now you have even these other inflationary issues that this all contributed to, they're gonna get away with it. That's the part that perhaps sucks the absolute most.
I agree.
Well, nobody ever gets held accountable. Dr. Fauci is a terrible guy, but Bill Clinton is on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 26 times without his Secret Service. These people that are in high power, they can make mistakes. You look at Prince Andrew as, hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. None of these people in power are ever going to have to pay their dues. They're never, ever going to be held responsible. So it's a harsh reality that it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. But maybe this time, next time, people can remember who to trust and who not to trust. Maybe that's a silver lining. I mean, I hate to end on just this bleak, grim, like, actually, no, none of these elites will ever see any consequences to their actions.
It'll be nearly impossible for them to implement that in places not New York or California.
Yeah, but they will implement it there. But this is the problem, though, Sarah, is it's a thing called cognitive dissonance. They know the government doesn't have our back, but they still want to think, oh, well, these people in charge, they want the best for us. Yeah. And they don't want the best for us. These people that are in power, they do not want the best for us.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back. All right, how's this for Clown World? 2 women at New Jersey's only all-women's prison have both fallen pregnant after having sex with transgender inmates. This is the Edna Mahan Correctional Facility in Clinton, in New Jersey. And this correctional facility began to apparently house transgender women last year. This includes those that have yet to undergo gender reassignment surgery, which is where you can see how this sort of thing might happen. And this came as part of a settlement following a lawsuit brought by a trans woman, so a dude, and the ACLU. And look, I have some questions, but I do want to point out it is unclear, they say, if it was the same transgender prisoner or a different one, but we do know of at least one couple. This is the happy couple. So this is this. I think you can tell which one is the man and which one is the woman. So the woman apparently is in jail for murder. And this man right here, which you would say, come on. He's just trying to buck the system. Like, this is a manly looking man. This is obviously not a trans person. Well, this is what he looks like now in jail. Yeah, so that's
just shaved a little bit.
Yeah, and added, I think he just like put a bunch of makeup on his eyebrows and maybe some eyeliner. So, yeah, this is.
I like this because.
Do you?
Well, because
really?
If I ever get arrested, now I know that I can go to the women's prison pretty easily. So that is.
That's all you have to do in New Jersey.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, there's no shortage of women to meet in there. But this is also a good thing, though.
Alex, we need to find you a woman somewhere else.
I know, but this is a good thing. You don't see it because now we have a beautiful baby that's going to be born to 2 parents. Obviously, their life in prison, but at least we got a life out of it as long as they don't get an abortion. And there's a lot of predictive programming, like in the show Orange is the New Black. So this is just bound to happen. And really, sadly, we might as well expect this to happen even more. So congratulations on the baby. I hope I can be invited to the baby shower.
That is not a baby shower I want to be attending.
That's the only baby shower I'd want to go to. That's like the best baby shower in the world is this baby shower.
I mean, it's just like, this is so dumb. Why are we talking about this? This is so stupid. Men with penises should not be going into women's prisons.
Well,
why?
Look, man, this is what happens when you allow crazy people to control the conversation. It gets more and more ridiculous, and then weird stuff happens, like, I don't know, winning a couple of swim meets and getting people pregnant in prison. So it has to get ridiculous in order for people to finally be like, okay, maybe it's a little too crazy. And I blame a little bit of even myself when it comes to this topic, because what happened is that you had folks that would warn us how ridiculous this was going to get, like way back. This is even before the whole gay marriage thing. They'd say, well, this will never happen. They wrote you off, these crazy Christian bigots, religious guys that it'll never happen. And then it just happened. It happened pretty fast in terms of how this accelerated. So we should have been knocking those conversations down when they started to get ridiculous, but we didn't. It was just like, okay, well, they just want to be happy, blah, blah, blah. And now here we are. So now we're forced to have to talk about these ridiculous conversations when it's right out of a meme. It's right out of a cartoon show, right out of South Park, to see Leah Thomas do what it is that she's doing. This is something like you'd see in a movie. Someone pretending this is, I'm going to just be a woman. But I'm a man.
Wasn't it called White Chicks?
Yeah, seriously.
That's what I'm saying. We've already seen it. So it keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And that's because we've allowed these, I almost called them another word. I don't think I can say I say it on I use this R word all the time. I'm not going to say it on here, but I say it on my channel all the time. But when you let these ridiculous people do what it is that they do, control the conversation, this is exactly what you get.
I mean, I want to get into, Alex, you mentioned, like, I know what to do now if I get arrested. I want to give specifics on just how easy it is, because it really is absurd. So this particular policy that, remember, the ACLU pushed for, it offers greater protections for transgender, intersex, and non-binary people in state prisons, most importantly by housing them based on the gender they identify with, but they can give information about their gender identity at any time during their incarceration. So even if you are incarcerated as a male,
man, if they get worse,
I know, but hold on. Here are some of the other protections. Single cell housing while final housing determinations are being made, being able to shower separately from other inmates, the right to have input into housing decisions and to appeal those decisions, and a prohibition of physical examinations to determine an inmate's genital status.
This is nothing. Rachel Levine is a 4-star admiral from Pennsylvania. I mean, like, one of the highest honors in our military is a trans woman. So, sadly, buckle up, Buttercup. It's only going to get more trans in the future.
Do you think that is that what it's going to take? Yeah. For, like, all the men in the men's prison to be like, I'm a woman now.
Yes, that's exactly.
And it's going to have to hit the fan. Yeah. Like, it's going to, and I hate that it has to be the case. Like, something really, really bad is going to have to happen for these idiots to finally recognize that they've been getting it wrong this entire time. It's stupid. We should have knocked the conversation. Just like right now, like I handle when these people act as if like being heterosexual is like abnormal or something like that, I will reject the conversation. I'm not even having a discussion with you because you're stupid. Yeah. We should have been doing it with these groups that are just acting as if the world is something that it's not. They're in a completely different dimension. There's no consequence to that. So other folks get word of that, of course. Right. Why wouldn't you do it? Right. Why wouldn't you? If you're an inmate, you're going to be in prison for the rest. Why wouldn't you be like, well, why don't I just go shack up with some chicks in a women's prison?
Right.
Well, we got to say this: 1/10% of people are trans, and they're changing the entire rule book for 99.9% of us. So we have to capitulate to that 1/10%, and that's the loony world we live in.
That's absurd. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back. Yeah, I'm just like, why would someone not do this? You get to shower by yourself.
Why wouldn't you do it?
You get to stay in single cell housing. Well, for those of you who haven't heard yet, we have a pretty big episode milestone coming up on Monday. It is going to be our 1000th episode, and we've got some fun stuff planned, so we hope that you will tune in. I wanted to share, we had a viewer, this is from Lawrence. He sent an email. He said, "Hi, Sarah." And he was doing the math. He's like, today, Wednesday, will be episode 997 of the News and Why It Matters. That means Monday would be episode 1000, unless, of course, you're taking Good Friday and or Easter Monday off. Do you think they let us take off time? They don't let us take off time here.
The news never stops.
I'm always here. So will you have any special episode 1000 swag, celebrations? Congrats on your upcoming milestone. Make sure there is cake. Glenn might show up for the episode if there is cake. Well, we do have some things planned. And we'll try with the cake. I don't know. But what I can tell you is we are using a special hashtag. It is called NewsNY1000. Over there, if you use that hashtag, you can tweet us. We will read a bunch of them during the show. So it can be anything from your favorite moment throughout the years of the show. It can be your favorite guest. You can ask some of the BlazeTV hosts any questions that you might have, and I can maybe try to get them to answer them. So we hope that you will use that hashtag NewsNY1000. We will be giving away some merch to those people who participate. So make sure that you get your tweets in, and we will look forward to reading them. I don't know. I say look forward, but I am a little bit nervous. Anytime you guys send in questions, I'm like, oh, is it going to be a tough one? So make sure you send those in, and we will see you guys on Monday. Make sure that you are also following these two gentlemen right here, Young Rippa 59, Alex Stein, Conspiracy Castle, and have a happy Easter, everyone. We'll see you Monday.
See ya.